Guys, I don't know if you saw this. 17 general managers got a vote for general manager of the year, the Jim Gregory Award.
I forgot about that.
Oh,
17.
me too.
17. Imagine there are 17 general managers that are good enough to win the Jim Gregory Award, but guess who isn't? Just guess. Because according to Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun, Kyle Dubas did not receive one vote.
Wow. And you know what's amazing is Mark Hunter got 2. He's not even an NHL GM. The guy got 2.
He's magic, that Mark Hunter.
I agree, Jesse. They should.
Okay.
Steve's thing, man. Steve's things with Kyle Dubas. When he tweeted that, I just tweeted, Steve, man.
You know what, man? The one thing about Steve Simmons is he is the most consistent. He's remarkably consistent.
He knows his brand. And like, I know he would just say, what? I'm simply stating the truth.
And he's right.
You are stating flavored truth.
Did anything prompt the tweet?
No.
Just
Lou Lamoriello winning it.
Do not tell me there is no difference between ruffles and all-dressed ruffles. There is a difference. And those were all-dressed ruffles that he tweeted with that. And he's telling me that it's plain. With Kyle Dubas received no votes. No, it's all dressed, Steve, because you don't like him. You have a very public feud, which is why you tweeted that. Don't tell me that it's regular, which is better for hell of a good dip and all that. That was an all-dressed tweet, Steve. What? I was at the cottage. I had a lot of chips.
I'm wondering, because when they train us in media, one of the things that they always say is, you got to have two sides to something. We've never really done that on this show intentionally, which is I think is a good thing for us because we just have our opinions and they can be different. But there's never unless Jesse's just trolling Steve, there's never
Never.
You would never. But it's sort of, we tell you what we think and then we wait for your comments. And sometimes your comments are as stupid as the things we say. Sometimes they're really smart. We get a little bit of both. And I feel like this is if this is intentional, do you know what I'm saying? If this is Skip Bayless intentional,
right?
It's a smart move for
on
him.
This show. A lot of the time, we all agree on a point, and they would tell you, "Oh, never do that.
Never do that."
Someone's always got to take the other side, but it's ridiculous. So it's not honest, and we preach honesty on this show.
Right. Yeah. Right. And we also can have a different perspective on the same thing and still agree. Right. That's the thing, right? A lot of shows just don't even bother with that. It's too much nuance and whatever, and that's fine, good for them. We just do whatever we do. We come here, we sit, we talk. We have no idea other than the topics that we're going to hit, where this is going to go, and that's just how the show has always been run. But with Steve Simmons, not Dangle, there is a strategy here, and there's a lot of people that really don't like Kyle Dubas, especially after this past season. And I don't blame them for saying it wasn't good enough. I do blame them for saying he's not qualified. I feel like he is. I think that just the team just wasn't very good, and they've got some work to do. And I didn't like his end of season press conference. But what Steve Simmons is doing is he is drumming up an audience and making himself sort of the Pied Piper leader of the resistance, because the resistance took over. Kyle Dubas was the resistance. He was the new guy. And now somebody's got to lead the old school crowd that were sort of pushed to the side. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is what Steve's doing. And if you look at some of the tweets that are under him, there's a few people that are disagreeing, and there's a lot of people that agree. And it's a smart move for him because technically speaking, most people, from what I have seen, and I think we can agree on this, who are older do not like Kyle Dubas. If they do not like Kyle Dubas, chances are they're over the age of 40.
You know what?
Is that a fair comment?
It is. And I'm glad you brought this up. So, I got to talk to some people at a distance about hockey recently, and they say a lot of the same things that I see online.
Right.
Locking up the Big Four to all that money. They lost the Marner negotiation when they lost the Nylander negotiation, which you're not going to find too much pushback here.
No, you're right. They're right.
They don't have enough toughness. this, that, and the other. But they say it with so much less hatred, racism, and homophobia. You know what I mean? Like they just, they go, you know what? I don't know about that Nylander contract. And I prepare for a fight right away because I'm like, here it comes. And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm just having a conversation with a person.
Right.
Who's just like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he scored 30 goals. He did way better than I thought he would. But like, yeah, I don't know. Is that the direction they should be going in? And I don't know what to do with that. Because that is not the arena I am trained in. That is not, you're asking a Muay Thai fighter to get into a jiu-jitsu dojo, whatever it's called. I'm used to all the strikes and this is grappling. I don't know what the hell's going on. It was very weird to have a civil hockey conversation. And I think because of COVID, I forgot what those are like. Because I've just been having online conversations with the vast majority of people. I'm trying to think of how many people I've spoken to in person since March. And I don't know if the list is above 50.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
I don't know. I don't know if
it's a lot of people.
It is 50.
That is a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's above that number of people.
Fair enough.
I don't. So, sorry, that got on to a completely different thing. I think it's because I read a lot of the replies, and I was just like, yep. I know that guy is anti-Nylander. Yep, and anti-Dubas. And yes, I know. Well, and I know that guy's pro-Dubas, no matter what. And yep, of course he is. And it was just so refreshing to just have I don't know. I wouldn't have done the Marner deal, but like, he tries. He gets out there, he tries. Like, it was just nice to have like a non-threatening hockey conversation.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, look for Steve Simmons to continue to do that. And here's the thing. You don't need to parrot or bother with somebody that's clearly trying to get under your skin. There's a strategy at work here, and it's a good one. I give Steve Simmons credit. He's representing the other side. Need a little bit more of that.
Do you?
Yeah, sure. You got to have a dissenting view. You have to. And
I think the problem
because if you've got a guy that you believe in, his performance should back up the reason you believe in him. I believe in Kyle Dubas. I do. I think he's going to be I think he's got a lot to sort out with this team, but I think he's capable of doing it. But there's going to be a lot of people that don't believe he's even capable. And Steve represents that crowd.
There's a lack of diversity of opinion. I think when it comes to hockey, there's a bad mixture. Mm-hmm. And I think Simmons and people like Simmons all think the same way.
Right.
Near identical. But then I go to hockey Twitter, and at least the check marks or like the bigger names in hockey Twitter all think the same way. And you're both wrong. You're both incredibly wrong. You tell me 3 of the 4 teams remaining in the Stanley Cup playoffs suck. Okay. And yeah, sure. Okay. Might want to fix that model. And then there's Simmons crowd with their same 3 talking points to the point where I think they're doing a bit. Yeah. And someone is making up Pierre Maguire quotes.
Yeah.
Hockey Twitter seems to also not have the same funness, for lack of a better word, as some of the other sports. Like basketball Twitter last night was so much fun with everybody. Like, why? And it just seems like there are more person like Dame Lillard was in on the jokes. Like that level.
CJ.
Hockey Twitter never really reaches that level. It seems to be so buttoned up and serious and angry, especially if you're not a fan of another fan's team. You know, it gets real personal. And then the media guys seem very buttoned up and all agreeing on.
There's a lot of seriousness. There's a lot of too much serious going on.
And I was saying, contrast that with NBA Twitter, where you got media people going at each other, but it's all for fun and just the amount of jokes that happen. I don't know. Hockey Twitter seems to have its own personality.
There was a moment, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but sometimes I'm laser focused on what the panel's talking about. And other times, I'm second screening it. I'm, looking at my phone, seeing what people are saying during intermission or whatever. And, well, what do you think about this topic? Well, I think this thing. Next box. What do you think about this topic? Well, I agree with that thing you just said. Third box. Well, I agree with that thing that you both just said. Fourth box, Cassie Campbell. Well, I disagree. I looked up from my phone. I went, what? And then she proceeded to make a really good dissenting point, backed with fact. It was riveting television. That was really good. And then I go on Twitter and everyone's shitting on her for not agreeing with the other three, which was wrong. You welcome that. I think you should welcome people who disagree, at least when it comes to sports, when the stakes are as low as sports.
Yeah, because really none of this really matters. It's a
if there are four squares, three of them agree, you should applaud the one that doesn't, whether they're right or wrong, because they are saving television. Actively.
Completely agree.
I agree with her, by the way.
There's also,
I don't remember what it was, but I did.
I hate it when there are panels and like a point will go unchallenged. Like who is the person in there? There's nothing I'd like to do more than sit next to Brian Burke and challenge him. I would love to do that. That
Elliot does from time to time,
and he's great at it, and it's funny. It's funny. Those are some of the magic moments when Elliot goes in and goes, I don't know, Berkey, and challenges that. But Elliot's so respectful about it. You need someone in there who doesn't give a shit, who's like, I have nothing to lose. I'm just going to challenge Brian Burke and see where this goes. It's going to be fun.
But that's the thing, though. Berkey doesn't give a shit.
No.
So I think you need to have him with someone else who doesn't give a shit, but in the same way.
Yeah, sometimes you want the first take dynamic where it's two guys, it's the Skip and Shannon going back and forth. Sometimes you want, when Brian Burke says something ridiculous, you want the other guy in there being like, okay, hold on, and then they go back and forth for a little, because that's entertaining TV.
Yeah,
there's too many people on hockey Twitter who don't realize how good Brian Burke is because they disagree with him all the time.
Right.
They need someone on the opposite end of that. He needs a really good sparring partner. Good, trust me, he's great.
It'll show his talents even more.
Yes. You don't realize how good he is. Trust me, he's amazing.